sisters. It's so good to be here today. I'm so very honored to be part of this beautiful festival that we are taking part in today. My name is Jess Bonasso, also known as the Self-Rescue Goddess, and I'm a self-rescue coach. I've been helping worn out working Wonder Women, basically modern day Wonder Women, for years, since 2007, learn how to master the art of self-rescue. And I'll tell you guys more about that in a minute. But today's topic and what I want to teach about today to this community is how to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, growth, and grace in your life. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we have hard things that happen in our life. And sometimes those hard things create attitudes, patterns, behaviors, mindsets that don't serve us. And a lot of that can hold us back. And I want to ask a question. When hard things happen in your life, do you feel like they're happening to you or for you? It's a great question to ask, because at the end of the day, I think depending on what your mindset is, how you've been programmed and conditioned, will dictate your reality. And this is why it's so important to learn how to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, growth, and grace, is because when we're operating at a higher frequency where there is more gratitude, where we are open-minded and open-hearted, like higher vibrational frequency, more curiosity, more discovery, more possibility is available in our lives, we tend to manifest and attract things into our experience that actually contribute to our overall happiness, health, and wholeness. And when we're not looking at things from that perspective, or that energy, I should say, what can happen is it can bring us down and it can put us into victim mentality. Does any of you have any idea what that means? I'm sure you do. And I'm sure there have been times in your life where you've been in your own victim mentality. I know in my 20s, I definitely was. I was climbing the corporate ladder and everything seemed really great. And then in my early 30s, I went into burnout, breakdown, and a proverbial midlife crisis. And it felt like all of that was happening to me. I was really operating from a victim mindset, and I was looking to blame everything else, everybody and everyone else but myself. And what I finally realized is that I was the one who was actually the problem and not everything outside of me. And when I realized that, I was like, I need to learn how to master the art of self-rescue, or else I'm going to be unhappy for the rest of my life. So in the process of mastering that self-rescue, one of the tools that I learned is a tool and a practice that I want to share with you today. And it is a practice that will absolutely help you shift your perspective and help you go from a victim mindset into more of a hero mindset or mentality. And this is a superpower, you guys. Really seriously, in order for you to be able to shift stuff that's going on in your life into, like, turn pain and suffering and challenges and mistakes and setbacks that you might be experiencing into gold, that's a superpower, right? And I learned how to do this in my mid to late 30s, and I've been practicing and applying this in my life since then. And I will tell you that it's raised my vibrational frequency. It's increased my abundance and my prosperity tenfold. And it's also contributed to me currently living a life of what I would consider happiness, health, healing, and wholeness. So what is this practice? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can practice it. One of which I've already sort of shared with you earlier today when I did my practice run for this session, was just to ask yourself a very simple question. And it could be one of these two questions. So when something's happening to you that doesn't feel good, you've made a mistake, you're experiencing a challenge, you're struggling in some way, you're operating in a lower vibrational frequency in that moment because of something hard that you're going through. So I want you to kind of think about something difficult that you're going through in your own life right now. Go ahead and get that in your mind. And you might even want to share in the comments, what is that difficult challenge that you're facing right now? And I'm happy to maybe even comment on that later after this live is over. So share with me, what is the challenge that you're facing right now? And I want you to get that in your mind. And then the first way that you can transform this, which is the quickest, fastest way, it's sort of like a shortcut, And this is something that maybe you'll use a lot more of once you've maybe done the more detailed version, which I'm going to go over with you in just a moment. But this simple shortcut is to ask yourself one of two questions. Relating to this hard thing that you're going through right now, what's the gift in this experience? That's the first question, which you can use as a shortcut. The second question you can ask, which is similar, is why might this be happening for me? Rather than to me or against me, but for me. They're kind of the same question. What's the gift? And why is this happening for me? You can even maybe think about that and respond to the challenge that you're facing in the comments below. Because the better you get at finding the gift in every single thing that's coming your way in the moment, the faster you're going to be able to turn whatever that pain, struggle, or challenge is into a superpower that turns into gratitude, growth, and grace. You see what I'm saying? And this is what helps us raise our vibrational frequency back up faster when we're going through hard things. Like, we can't avoid hard things. This is life, you guys. Like, there's ups and downs, ladies. We're going to have hard stuff happening all the time. But if we don't shift our perspective about what's not working in our life and try to foster gratitude, growth, and grace from that experience, it's going to victimize us. And we want to be our own hero, right? So this is a huge shift in mindset. And if you practice this every single day with every single challenge that comes your way, I can literally guarantee that it's going to shift your energy, shift your mindset, and shift your life in a way that's going to lead to your ability to thrive in every area of life. Like, literally, this is a superpower. So growth is so important, right? Learning what's the gift and why this might be happening for you is you seeking growth from that experience. And when we can find what lesson there is, then we can express gratitude about that. And that's what leads to more grace. Can you understand? I hope so. If you can understand, say, yes, I understand in the comments below. All right, so that's the first thing that you can do. That's a very quick and easy way. Those two questions are very fast, down and dirty questions. Now what I want to do is give you a detailed version of how to shift and transform this. And this is actually something that I teach as part of my Awaken Your Power Enneagram experience, which I actually am going to be leading in January. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. But this is a detailed practice for transmuting or for transforming anything you're going through into purpose, into wisdom, into growth, into you being a higher, wiser, braver version of yourself. So there's 6 questions that are part of this process. Basically, what I like to do is I use this when I'm going through challenges, but I also use this when there's some self-assessment that needs to take place. For example, I could look at this year, right? We're in the middle of 2023, and I could apply all of these questions to this entire last year to assess and address what worked well, what didn't work well, and learn from the experience. And as I mentioned already, if you have a pain point that you've picked out, a hard thing that you picked out, you can also use it for that too. So this is great for self-assessment and also transforming your energy, your mindset, in your life, right? So 6 questions that make up this practice. And I call this the what's the gift practice. Here's the detailed breakdown. Question number 1 is, what's working well? So if I'm using this for 2023, I could look back over the year and say, oh, here's a list of all the things that are working well for me in 2023. Or in this experience or challenge that I'm facing, here's a list of all the things that are working well. Like, maybe I'm proud of the way I showed up, but I hate the way they showed up. So being proud of the way you showed up and not liking the way they showed up, right? That's what's working and also what's not working well. Right? So what's working well gives you a chance to acknowledge whatever your part is that went well and to celebrate that success. Like, anything that you contributed to being part of the solution, to being part of the manifestation of what you've been trying to create, that's something you can celebrate. So what's working well is a celebration question. What's not working well is question number 2. And this is, again, you can apply this to an area of your life that you're assessing, like the last year and how you've been doing in work and life, or to the problem that you're facing, right? And that's just taking stock and inventory of what's working and what's not working well. So those two questions they're giving you a chance to be a witness to your experience, right? Instead of being a full-blown participant and being more victimized by it, right? You can actually step back and go, wait a second, what's working well in this situation? What's not working well in this situation? That's just sort of like a breakdown. It's like you're in assessment mode about it. So it can certainly bring stuff up, but it gives us a chance to just take stock and inventory of what's working and not working. So those are the first two questions. The third question to ask yourself once you've asked those two questions is, how do I feel about this? Or what feelings do I have about this? And when I say this, I'm talking about both what's working well and what's not working well. It's a chance for you to self-reflect and consider for a moment, how does that make you feel? Right? All the stuff that you feel good about, what are the feelings and the emotions that makes you feel? Joy, feeling pride, happiness because you were able to do this, that, and the other. And then on the flip side, what are the feelings and emotions you feel about what's not working well? Maybe you feel fearful or sad or ashamed or guilty, right? Just taking a moment to actually face what you're feeling about both what's working and not working is a great way to just feel your emotions and acknowledge them. You know, often I like to think of emotion as energy in motion. Well, when we don't give our emotions voice or witness to our emotions, we stuff and suppress them. That's not energy in motion. Emotion's energy in motion, right? And stuffing and suppressing our emotions lowers our vibrational frequency and can lead to physical and emotional health and stress issues, disease issues that could be very harmful to your experience, your life experience, right? So it's really important to just take a moment to acknowledge how you're feeling about it. So that's question 3. Question number 4, then, beyond that, is to ask yourself, well, what's the gift, right? So we're taking that very short version of what I've been teaching you today, and we're bringing that into question number 4. So now that you've assessed what's working, what's not working, and how you feel about it, now you can go, what's the gift and the lesson in this experience? At bare minimum, you should always walk away with a gift of, oh, here's what not to do next time. And if that's the only gift you figure out from this experience, great. At least there's some wisdom that you're receiving from this. And going forward, you can make sure you don't make that same mistake again, or you don't do the same things that led to what's not working, or you set better boundaries next time. Whatever it is that needs to happen next in order to make sure what's not working doesn't happen again, you can figure that out. And that's what we move to next. But before we move to that, I want you to really get that question number 4. That's in the middle of this sort of gratitude, growth, and grace sandwich that I'm serving you here. It's that 4th question. It's a great question to sort of tie a ribbon on everything that's working and not working so that you can begin to move forward from the self-assessment process, okay? So just to recap, first question is what's working? Second question, what's not working well? Third question, how do I feel about this? Fourth question, what's the gift? The lesson, the wisdom, what's the value in this experience that I need to receive so I can move forward, okay? Question number 5 now is where we're starting to move forward and figure out what needs to happen next. And this is a question where, for women in particular, we like to try to do everything on our own. And I'm not saying this is every woman, but from my experience, a majority of women that I work with, and I know this is because of patriarchal programming and conditioning, generational programming and conditioning, we have a very difficult time asking for help. It's also because we're kind of hardwired by nature to nurture and take care of others. So asking for help just doesn't feel very natural. So this 5th question is about what support or help do I need in order to fix and correct what's not working well? So now you're taking the hard thing that's not working well, and we're going to start to transform it and turn it into something else, right? We want to turn that into a superpower. So what support, if any, do I need to fix and correct what's not working well? Like maybe next time you need to set better boundaries, or just not do that thing again, or ask for what you need. I mean, there might be a million and one ways to potentially ask for help and support, right? All right. So you get to figure that out. The last question, question number 6, is what action, if any, can I take going forward, either now or going forward, to correct what's not working? What action can I take to correct what's not working? This is where the pivotal moment comes in, because this is where you get to identify what action you personally can take to save yourself from what's not working going forward, right? This is why we call this self-rescue 101. Okay, so the self-assessment that we're doing here is going to help you rescue yourself from the things in your life that are hard, that aren't working well, that are a challenge to you, the mistakes that you've made, which is hugely helpful because it gets you out of that victim mentality and into that hero mindset that I was talking about, right? This is what shifts your energy, your mindset, and your life. And over time, with great practice, this is super transformative. So, I don't know what that action might be, but whatever that is you can identify it. And then the challenge is to go out and actually take that action next time. So these are the questions that I have for you. This is actually, this 6-step process, this what's the gift process that I'm sharing with you today, is a self-rescue practice that I teach inside of my Awaken Your Power Enneagram experience. It's an online course that I teach a couple times a year. And this year I'm teaching it in January. It comes with 4 hour-and-a-half long group empowerment sessions, and also some home play exercises and activities each week where you get to learn about the Enneagram personality system. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you today is because I'm a huge fan of growth and evolution. I feel like one of our number one superpowers when it comes to saving ourselves is growth. And the Enneagram personality system is a system that's basically designed as a spiritual growth and development system designed to help you figure out what your blind spots, unhealthy habits, patterns, fears, behaviors, belief systems are, traits and characteristics are that are no longer serving you. Like, for example, are you a perfectionist and you spend way too much time overworking things because you want it to be perfect? Or are you a self-sacrifice person who gives until the point of self-sacrifice and then wonder why you're so worn out and exhausted? Are you an overachiever who is working your way up the ladder and not making time to take care of your health? So you're sacrificing yourself that way. These are just 3 examples of Enneagram blueprints that can actually lead to our further pain and suffering. And when you learn about the Enneagram, you learn about all these blind spots that are holding you back and the characteristics, but you also learn a path of growth, which is designed to help you become a higher, wiser, braver version of yourself. And when you use the Enneagram growth map in conjunction with the What's the Gift self-rescue practice that I'm sharing with you today, that self-rescue practice is just an inherent, it's like an inherent way to constantly look for growth and evolution in your life. And ultimately, that's what the Enneagram wants you to do, is it wants you to learn how to come back to a place of happiness, health, wealth, and wholeness. And the only way to do that is to raise the level of development that you're currently at, or consciousness that you're currently at, by teaching you what's holding you back and showing you a way to transform what's holding you back into what will help you become your own hero, not just in work, but in life, in every single aspect of life. So for every one of you lovely ladies that decides to watch this training today, I want to invite you to take advantage of a $75 off discount that I'm offering to this group only. If you're interested in joining us in January, it runs from January 10th through January 31st. You can find all the details in the comments below. I'll put a link in there along with the code. And then the second gift that I'd like to offer you is a complimentary self-rescue assessment that will help you assess and address your own self-rescue needs, and also learn the 3 keys to self-rescue that will help you become your own hero. So if you're interested in that free gift or the $75 off to the Awaken Your Power Enneagram experience, just click in the link below and you'll find all the delicious details on how to take advantage of that there. Anyway, thanks so much. And remember to embrace your greatness, ladies. You are so worth it.